Grieves my heart. I traveled in and out of Iraq and Afghanistan for 10 years in a row when I represented part of Allen County in Washington, D.C. I stood quietly at the gravesides of soldiers who paid the ultimate sacrifice, and to see those gains squandered by a lack of leadership by this administration and our Secretary of State grieves my heart. It's also important to remember it was Hillary Clinton who instigated the disastrous agreement with the radical mullahs in Iran. And for years it was the policy of the United States of America that we would impose punishing sanctions on Iran until they completely abandoned their nuclear ambitions. But under this administration, a deal was signed that only achieved a delay in the nuclear ambitions of the leading state sponsor of terrorism. And lastly, it was Hillary Clinton and her State Department who left Americans in harm's way in Benghazi, sent no reinforcements as the mortars fell and waves of terrorist assault arrived. After it was overtold the parents of the four fallen that it was because of a video that had been produced in Florida, when in fact Congress found that there were emails that they knew it was a terrorist attack that day on the anniversary of 9/11 4 years ago. And when she was confronted about it before the Senate, Hillary Clinton actually said, quote, "What difference at this point does it make?" Well, my fellow Hoosiers, as the proud father of a United States Marine, let me just say this. Anyone who said that, anyone who did that, should be disqualified from ever serving as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the United States of America. We cannot have 4 more years apologizing to our enemies and abandoning our friends. When Donald Trump becomes President of the United States, once again, America will lead on the world stage with American strength. Donald Trump will rebuild our military. We will restore the arsenal of democracy. We will stand with our allies. We will stand up to our enemies. And Donald Trump, as Commander-in-Chief, will hunt down and destroy ISIS and any terrorist organization that threatens the American people or inspires violence on our shores. So it's about security, but it's also about prosperity. Despite all the happy talk on the other side, despite even progress we've made here in the Hoosier State, in spite of Washington, D.C., we are in the midst of the weakest economic recovery since the Great Depression. Millions more Americans are living in poverty today than the day that Barack Obama became President of the United States. We have the lowest labor participation rate since the 1970s. Hillary Clinton's plan, more of the same. More taxes, more regulation, more Obamacare, and more of the war on coal that has been stifling the American energy economy. Hillary Clinton actually plans to raise taxes by $1.3 trillion, increase spending by trillions more, and she considers Obamacare as just a good start. You know, they tell us this economy is the best that we can do, but Hoosiers know better. This economy is nowhere near the best that we can do. It's just the best they can do. And when Donald Trump becomes President of the United States of America, we're going to get this economy moving again by letting the American people keep more of what they earn. We're going to negotiate trade deals that work for working Americans. We're going to repeal Obamacare, lock, stock, and barrel. We're going to do all the things that we in Indiana have learned a long time time ago still work here in a state that works. And when Donald Trump becomes President of the United States, he's going to do what we've been doing in the Hoosier State with strong Republican leadership for much of the last 12 years. We're going to wring every wasteful dollar out of that bloated federal bureaucracy. We're going to cut taxes across the board for working families, small businesses, and family farms. We're going to repeal every single one of Barack Obama's executive orders that are stifling jobs in this country. And on day one of the Trump-Pence administration, we're going to end the war on coal once and for all. We're going to end all of the above energy strategy that unleashes the power of the American economy. Now, Hillary Clinton thinks that the economists who say that's going to turn things around, she thinks those projections are, in her words, wildly unrealistic. Well, Hoosiers know the only thing wildly unrealistic is continuing to do the same thing with the same leadership, with the same bad ideas, and expecting a different result. The reason I say with such confidence is because it has been working here in Indiana. Here in Indiana, we've demonstrated that you can live within your means. You can let people keep more of what they earn. You can balance budgets, have strong reserves, still make record investments in education, in infrastructure, in the crossroads of America, in health care. And today, as we stand in our bicentennial year, we've got more Hoosiers going to work than ever before in the 200-year history of the state of Indiana. And that's exactly the kind of leadership Donald Trump's going to bring to the White House. And that's exactly the kind of leadership that Eric Holcomb is going to bring to the State House when he becomes the 51st governor of the state of Indiana. Eric, would you come up here? Ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you, Donald Trump talks to me all the time. He says, you know, you Hoosiers are so modest. And he said, Mike, when it comes to selling Indiana's record, you got to get over it. He said, everybody around America talks about Indiana. We talk about the fact that this state is the gold standard of fiscal responsibility, of pro-growth policies. He's inspired by the state of Indiana, and I couldn't be more grateful. And would you join me in thanking the next great Republican governor of the state of Indiana, Eric Holcomb, his wife Janet. Let's make sure they go to the State House and keep Indiana growing. So this is about security. It's about prosperity. It's about having the right leadership here at the state level. It's about having the right leadership at the national level. But it's about one more thing. And maybe the most important thing, my fellow Hoosiers. And that is that while in this election we're going to elect a president for the next 4 years. Now, that president will likely set the course and direction of the Supreme Court of the United States for the next 40 years. We better think long and hard. I mean, if you cherish the Constitution of the United States, if you long to see a Supreme Court that will interpret the law and not legislate from the bench, if you cherish the Second Amendment to the Constitution and the right to keep and bear arms, if you aspire and cherish the sanctity of life and all of our God-given liberties. Now we better think long and hard about it. I mean, elect Hillary Clinton and you better get used to being subject to unelected judges using unaccountable power to make more unconstitutional actions. But elect Donald Trump. And you will have a president who will make appointments to the Supreme Court of strict constructionists who will uphold the Constitution in the tradition of the late and great Antonin Scalia. But remember, the President nominates to our courts. They are confirmed by the United States Senate. So maintaining our majority in the United States Senate is of equal importance if you cherish all the things that I just shared. If you cherish our Constitution. So would you join me, Fort Wayne, in committing here and now that we will do our part to re-elect a Republican majority in the United States Senate by electing Todd Young to represent the great state of Indiana in the United States Senate. Come on back up. His opponent picked on the wrong Marine. But I'm telling you what, Todd Young, when he arrives in the United States Senate, will support those strict constructionists of the Constitution of the United States, and we'll make sure that for our part in Indiana, that in the United States Senate and beyond, let's just decide here and now that the next president of the United States of America to make appointments to the Supreme Court of the United States will be President Donald Trump. And so it's about security, it's about prosperity, it's about the highest court in the land, but my fellow Hoosiers, it's also about the highest standards of integrity in the highest office in the land. I mean, to watch the avalanche of controversies and corruptions flowing out of their years just when she was Secretary of State. Find that the Clinton Foundation accepted tens of millions of dollars from foreign governments and foreign donors while she was Secretary of State. And then, thanks to the good work of the Associated Press, found that more than half of the individual meetings that she gave while sitting in the third highest constitutional office in the land were to major donors to the Clinton Foundation. We learned because of the New York Times that she was operating a private server in her home, and when that was discovered, she used high technology to erase nearly 18,000 emails and used a hammer, her aides did, to destroy BlackBerries and cell devices. And men and women, I'm old enough to remember when a president erased 18 and a half minutes and was run out of Washington, D.C. Hillary Clinton used high technology trying to erase nearly 18,000 emails being sought by official sources. And I just have to tell you, that doesn't sound like politics to me. That sounds like obstruction. The American people are sick and tired of it. When we look at the relationship between the Clinton Foundation and her years as Secretary of State, that just looks exactly like the kind of pay-to-play politics the American people are sick and tired of, and it's exactly the kind of politics that's going to come to an end the day that Donald Trump becomes President of the United States. When Donald Trump becomes president, the days of the rigged system for the favored few in Washington, D.C. are over. And when Donald Trump is your president, his only special interest will be you, the people of this state and the people of this nation. And he's going to fight for you every single day. I promise you. As I close, let me say, I hope you leave here today inspired. Not by any words that I said, but I hope you leave here inspired by the choice that we face. And the truth of the matter, this is not any ordinary election. I mean, in my lifetime, sometimes it's been a choice between leaders that'll take us this far up and leaders that'll take us this far up. But this is not an election like that, is it? I mean, the truth is, this is a choice, men and women, of whether or not we're going to continue to go downhill to a weaker America on the world stage, to a weaker American economy and struggling American families, or whether we're going to continue to walk away from the constitutional principles that have made this country great, and the high standards in public life, or whether we're going to stop, plant our feet, turn around, and march back up the hill to a stronger America at home and abroad, more freedom, more respect for our Constitution, and the highest aspirations of the American people. And I know the choice we're going to make in Indiana. But as we make that choice, I want to tell you one other thing about this man I've come to know. Somebody came up to me the other day. He said, you know, I've known Donald Trump for 30 years, Mike, and I really like him. And I said, you know, I haven't known him very long at all. And I really like him. He's become a friend. I've seen him when the Glee lights were off, when the cameras are off. He's a man who really, he loves his family and he loves this country in a way that few leaders I've ever met have. And all you need to do is turn on the television any given morning and see the abuse that Donald Trump takes on a regular basis, and see the way he turns his face like flint against the wind and he just keeps going. It's because he loves America. And he's never going to give up. But I have to tell you, the things, as we got to know one another, we found out that, you know, I mean, obviously we're a little different, right? I mean, you know, it's a long way from Indiana